Welcome back to the List Building Lifestyle. I'm your host, Igor Kafetz, and today I'm hosting Kyle Dana, who's the Director of Marketing at Digistore. Digistore is an affiliate network, an affiliate marketplace, if you will. It's been rising very fast in the past few years. I've now got a couple of $1 million in revenue there, and I'm very happy actually being a part of that network. In fact, I believe it's really been taking, not to position them as enemies, but it's been really taking the fight to the dominant player in that game, who I consider ClickBank to be, and they've been doing an amazing job as a whole. They've really made it easy for affiliates to go there to switch. They get amazing payment processing for vendors. Overall, I can't say enough good things about Digistore. And if you're an affiliate marketer or if you're a vendor who's looking for more affiliates, I highly recommend you check out Digistore. They started out as I believe, German only marketplace, but then they've expanded throughout Europe and now in the US and North America. They're super, as I would like to call, mentally flexible, which means when they need to make some changes, they can make them quick. As a vendor, if you need something, they can actually provide you with a tech help for, implementing stuff, like if you need custom order forms and things like that. And overall, it's just it feels like they're on the up and up. And if you're an affiliate or a vendor, you should definitely check them out. You should also check out the episode I've done with the founder of Digistore earlier. So look it up on our website, listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. In the meantime, I've got Kyle here, and we're going to talk about email because that's a big part of what he does over there at Digi. So, Kyle, welcome to the List Building Lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me, and also amazing intro of Digistore. Maybe you should be the head of marketing instead of me, but yeah, you definitely hit on a lot of really key points, and you're definitely right that Digistore has definitely been making noise in the last couple of years, especially in the US, and I think we're going to continue to make even more noise in 2025.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are determined to really take over, and I love it because this sort of healthy competition in the marketplace usually results in better outcomes for the customers and the users,
Yeah.
which means guys like myself who are not interested in having their own affiliate network, we stand to benefit from all the different things. And I've seen so many affiliate networks come and go, and I've seen so many affiliate networks just show up and never really develop into anything more than a startup. To recognize that whatever you guys are doing, you're doing a great job. Doing a great job. In fact, I'm a bit sad as well for not being able to attend the upcoming event for the top vendors and affiliates that you got
Yes.
happening in Mexico as well. So that's a bit of a bummer. So anyway, let's talk about email.
Yeah.
Before we started recording, we spoke about how for most people, if they're mailing a couple of times a week, if they're mailing, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, they think they're borderline spamming people, which of course ain't true. But we spoke about mailing more than once a day, even twice a day. Now,
Yeah.
I've been a big advocate for mailing more than from first of mail daily at the very least, and second for mailing more than once a day. Some days I can send like 6 emails to the list, and for most people that's insane. There's like they would line me up against the wall and start shooting me for that. But there is a method to the madness, and you can do it without annoying the hell out of people too. So um, share with us a little bit about your philosophy regarding that, as well as what's your take and what's your strategy, I guess, for email.
Yeah, for sure. So of course it depends on what's your business, what's your goals, where email kind of plays into that. But I'd say as a general rule, kind of like you said, people aren't sending emails enough. They're scared that, oh, if I'm sending daily emails, I'm going to be spamming that user. But if you're sending them content products that is related to why they subscribe in the first place that they're interested in, right? They're not going to get mad if you're emailing them about, let's say they signed up for some kind of pet supplement and you're sending them dog content, right? They're not going to get mad if you're sending them content around dogs or even cute pictures of dogs or supplements for their dogs. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, as long as what you're sending is relevant to why they subscribe in the first place, you're good to go. And kind of my philosophy is, let's say you have a 10,000 person list. For
Hmm.
any email you don't send, you're technically losing out on, let's say, 10,000 impressions, so to speak,
Hmm.
right? And a lot of these people are signed up to probably your competitor's list. So if you're not mailing them, I can promise you your competitor is. And so you're losing out on opens, clicks, and sales. So for me, my recommendation is really find what works for you, but really try and stay consistent to that. So whether it's once a day, try and stay consistent to once a day.
I sometimes think that people underestimate, like marketers underestimate, just how much content the readers are willing to take in,
Yeah.
about the very thing that they like. For example, my dad, he's really into sports, just in general. Like he'll watch boxing, he'll watch snooker or Eurosport, he'll even watch bicycle, like the races that they do, like Tour de France and stuff like that. I mean, what could be more boring than watching people bike? Probably curling, the Canadian sport, where they take the mop and they mop like that. I mean, it's boring stuff, but he'll watch pretty much any sport. And what's interesting is that there's a few sports that he really loves, like the snooker and soccer, I guess, and tennis would be the top three for him. And he can pretty much talk about it all day long. He'll read all the news and gossip about whatever's going on in the sport. He'll even watch reruns of old matches. So the amount of content he's willing to consume about the thing that he likes is like pretty big. And it's true for pretty much anyone about anything. One time I caught my wife watching about 60 minutes worth of nonstop footage of a cosmetologist or whoever's doing like facials and stuff, kind of like taking out little zips from and blackheads from people's skin under a microscope, right? So it would like they would really zoom in and they would press on this thing and gooey white thing would come out of it. So it's really disgusting if you think about it. But I've literally watched her for 60 minutes, just literally watch that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we all have that. We all have whatever's, a big interest of ours. And for example, if I'm really into gaming, or if I'm really into anything really, and I get on email lists about it, I'll get emails and I'll read those emails. At the very least, I'll open and scan the emails,
Yeah.
and I can do it all day long. So if somebody's passionate about their pet, their dog, their cat, their parrot, and they're really into that stuff, you can send them 5 emails a day, and they'll read them, as long as whatever you're sending out isn't first off repetitive, meaning it's not the same thing you sent out yesterday. So at that point, they're going to get annoyed. I think that's the easiest way to annoy people, is to send them stuff they've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's why news sites are constantly hammering us with that's new content, and they're looking for the next shocking, disgusting, thing. Oh, new footage of California fires, or new footage of Ukraine war. Like in the first 20 days of the Russia-Ukraine war, there's been an update every 20 minutes. And a good buddy of mine, he used to be a CNN addict, really, because any moment he would like get on CNN and he would like scroll through the updates. He would like have the feed, be like, oh, what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on in Kiev, what's going on in Kharkiv. And so we have this incredible appetite for content related to the things that we love, and I think marketers really underestimate that.
For sure. And kind of to your point, like let's say you're sending 5 emails a day, you're going to increase the chances of, right, people opening your email. So for example, I love shoes. So I get emails from Nike, New Balance. So maybe, Nike sends me let's say that they just send me one email in the morning about a certain product I'm not interested in, but then they send me a second email later in the day, which was about some shoe drop that I am interested in. Actually, sending more emails increases the chances of me engaging, right? Because I might not be interested in all their emails, but I might be interested in certain things that they're sending about. And also, you can play around with like who you're targeting. So let's say you want to send several emails in a day. Maybe some emails is to a wider audience, but you send some other emails to a tighter segment where it's people that do engage more with your emails. That's what I used to do was I would sometimes send a third email in a day, but that third email went to people that have really recently opened, clicked, right? So they're actually more likely to kind of open or click. So
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. I think most people, most marketers, when they think of their list, they are lazy thinkers. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this particular thing because it annoys the hell out of me, to be honest with you. An email list is pretty much the biggest asset you have because if you use it correctly, it can not only like double your income, it can multiply your income, and it can also reduce the amount of working hours you need to invest into your business. So at the very least, you can keep the same income but work less. And when people don't give their email list the proper attention and care it deserves, it really annoys me. And one of the ways that they do it is they see their list as one big blob. It's like a piece of cheese. Like when I go to the store, there's like a big block of cheese there, right? So they don't understand that there's many different angles to it, and then you can slice it in many different ways. So one of the ways, as you just mentioned, that you're supposed to be slicing your cheese. That, I should coin that term. So you're supposed to be slicing that list. Is that people who are showing interest and they're already opening what you got, what you're sending them. They're telling you in with no ambiguity. They're telling you, I'm willing to open more of your emails. If you just send me more, I'm willing to open them. So all of a sudden, you can have, let's say you have a 10,000 person email list, and let's say you've got 3,000 of them who are like aggressive openers. Well, guess what? You can send them 5 emails today, and they'll probably open most of them, if not all of them.
yeah, for sure. And you could even take it a step further and learn, what are people interested in? So let's say it's a shoe store, going back to my example, and they see, oh, Kyle's always opening my emails about Nike shoes. Okay, well, if ever they have an email to send about Nike, hey, make sure they're sending it to me. I'm probably going to open it. So yeah, there's email is like a lot of people outside of email think email is just so basic, kind of like you said, you just hit send, that's it. But you can really, it's an art and a science. You can go so deep into it,
Yeah, I
including
think so. I think so, and I think people undervalue the power of a good email. Like I've seen a massive difference in conversions just based off of the copy used in an email, with no other difference in terms of the offer itself. I've also seen, to be fair, there's some lists out there where the relationship with the person who owns that list is so good that it almost doesn't matter what that person writes in the email. The list just goes on and buys whatever it is that they're recommending. So there are definitely aspects to it. I think the biggest aspect is how good of a relationship you have with that list. How much authority are you packing anytime you're sending out an email? And I think that's, if you can establish that with your list, you're pretty much set for life. And I do want to take the conversation to this direction that we kind of hinted on, and that is that most people don't really take email seriously. They think it's too basic. Another issue is people think email is dead. What do you have to say to those people?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing email marketing for 10 years, and every year I hear that email is going to be dead. So, email is kind of like a cat, but I think it has like 100 lives. So, yeah, email is definitely not dead. Like a lot of other marketing channels, for sure, it gets trickier every year. There's some different new rules you have to follow, or you just have to get more creative as a marketer to make sure that, your emails get not only delivered to the inbox, but open and clicked. So, I'd say email is definitely not dead. It is more challenging than probably ever before. However, in the same sense, like, I get to work with a lot of the biggest digistore vendors, whether they're selling a supplement or their online coach or course creator. And the best ones now maybe make a bit of profit on the front end, but they have their back end dialed in, and email is a big part of that, right? So it's ad costs are super high right now. So a lot of vendors, they'll break even, maybe make a bit of money on the front end, but they're all about the back end and having their email marketing dialed in. So although email is more challenging than ever, it's probably more important than ever because again, those traffic costs, those CPA costs are kind of higher. But yeah, email is definitely not dead. It won't be. Consumers are used to getting sales and promotions via email, right? It's one of the oldest forms of digital communication. So it's definitely not going uh, to be dead anytime soon, but you definitely have to, put more focus on email and get more creative and be more strategic. And like you said, less lazy because if you're lazy and you just skip a bunch of steps or you don't put a lot of thought into it, your emails, for you will die, right? They won't perform.
Yeah, I think even more so, to kind of emphasize this point you're making, email is more important than ever. It's not just the fact that it's not dying. And I've been hearing that email's supposed to die since I got into this game.
Yeah.
I've now been in the game for, I think, more than 15 years, maybe 18. It's hard to remember when I really got serious about it. But let's say Facebook. When Facebook showed up, they promised to kill email. SMS didn't kill email. Blogs didn't kill email. Twitter didn't do it. Instagram didn't do it. Snapchat didn't do it. TikTok ain't gonna kill it. iMessage didn't do it. WhatsApp didn't do it. FaceTime didn't do it. Zoom and Google Meet didn't do it. If anything, all these platforms, they learn to kind of base off of email because your calendar is synced to your email. If you've got a meeting with somebody, you get the link to the Google Meet in your email. To get a social media account, you need an email address. Amazon will send you your receipt and shipment tracking notifications to your email. Whenever you're signing a real estate transaction or something like that, you get it in your email. If you live in North America, if you live in Europe, you're probably going to have to do it in person though. And I've experienced that myself recently. The point being is that email not something you kind of be like, okay, yeah, email, yeah, I'll get to it, yeah, I know it exists, yeah, maybe it's important. You have to take it more seriously. Just looking at the numbers, just looking at the amount of revenue email's producing, um, I mean, it's not only important; it's by far the most important out of all the different forms of media. And whether you use it on the front end or in the back end or both, it's probably going to become at one point or another the center of your marketing universe if you are to truly build a stable and scalable business.
Yeah, like going back to, let's say, your cheese example, like let's say that cheese is like your business puzzle, your marketing puzzle. Cheese, like probably half of that cheese should be email, right? Email is a huge part of that puzzle. And going back to Europe, for example, I spoke in Milan last year, and I didn't really know much about cash on delivery. I was kind of teaching them that, hey, even if you're doing cash on delivery where you're not emailing your customers right now, you can do a strategy where, okay, maybe you have their phone number and you can send them SMS after their purchase, and then maybe give them a free, let's say, gift or free ebook. Go to opt-in page, get their email, and then all of a sudden now you can start emailing them. So a lot of people in other regions where maybe they're not used to doing email marketing, there's so many creative ways where you can still build an email list.
Yeah, I mean, a great example. So I recently relocated to Bulgaria for some time, and the two most dominant email promoters in my inbox are, first off, well, besides the banks, are two services for delivery, for food delivery specifically, and they email me multiple times a day with discounts, with like coupons, things like that, as well as with new offers, with new like meals. So there's a restaurant chain called Happy. They got restaurants all over Bulgaria, and they've got different kinds of restaurants. So they'll email every day and be like, "Oh, get fried octopus today. Oh, we got a special for the burger. Oh, we got this, we got that. This soup combo, gamers combo, sushi and chicken tenders, whatever." So they're always like hammering me with offers. And another service, kind of like Uber Eats, called Glovo, they'll just every day they'll just send me a different, they'll kind of highlight a different business. So today's going to be a burger place, tomorrow's going to be a sushi place. And if I did order burgers in the past, guess what, I'm going to get hammered with, American food specific promotions for the next couple of weeks for sure. And it's that's the way it's supposed to be done. When a subscriber is showing you interest in something, you just continue hammering them with whatever interests them, because that's, from now on, that's what they expect from you anyway. They kind of put you in a bucket, or in a subsection of their brain, as the person or company related or responsible for this thing. So whether it's shoes, burgers, grooming your dog, whatever, that's like, now that's how they think about you.
Makes sense. And yeah, funny you give that example when it comes to food, because the other day I was like, you know what? I really have to eat healthy. I went to the grocery store, got some healthy stuff to make for dinner. 6 p.m., I get an email from Domino's. I end up ordering Domino's and having Domino's, right? Um, and one thing I want to touch on actually with that Domino's example is also like the timing of your emails. Like, right, you could do so much when it comes to the time of your emails. They emailed me at 6 p.m. right when I'm probably thinking about what am I doing for dinner, right? So yeah, another just kind of proof of, hey, email can work so well in so many different niches, so many different use cases, right? Regardless of what you sell, you can have an email list and sell something to that list.
So what would you say are the top three things that people aren't doing right now? If they do have an email list, what should they be doing?
Yeah, so I'd say first off, like let's say someone just signs up to your list, you have kind of a welcome series. Outside of going back to your point of, hey, you want to build trust right away, you want to build a relationship. I'd say also try and get to know your subscribers better. I literally use SurveyMonkey, like the most simple free tool out there, but I try and understand, hey, what's the age demographics of my list? Is it more female? Is it more male? What other products are they interested in? What other problems are they facing where maybe I can sell them a solution via email? So that's a big thing that I don't really see people doing often, is learning more about who their email list actually is. They're just kind of lazy and like, oh, my list is, mostly male, and I don't know, they're probably interested in this or that. But you can really drill that down and be quite micro about that. And once you learn more about them, of course, you know exactly what content to send, what products to send. If you're an affiliate, what affiliate products to send. So I think that's a big thing. Um, a second thing I would say, and I know we don't want to go too technical, but let's say you're selling a product. There's so many different automations that you can do where you set it once and then it's kind of set and forget. So, you can have welcome series, you can have browser abandonment, you can have emails about, hey, their supplement is almost, out. Make sure you send them an automated email about that. So there's just so many different things. Cart abandonment. And then for number three, it sounds super silly, but I've worked with so many vendors that have sold millions and they never hit the email send button once. They never emailed their list at all. And nowadays, it's so hard to go back and re-engage old contacts. So it's like, hey, if you're selling a product, make sure you set up your email day one, because I have so many people who are like, hey, I have a 500,000 person list, but I never emailed them once. And I was like, I can try and maybe, re-engage 10, 20% of them. But nowadays it's very hard. So yeah, I mean, those are the first three that come to my mind. I guess, what would your answer be to that? Or is there any main thing that you see people aren't doing?
Well, first of all, I agree with your number three in the sense that most people who build a list do not seem to email the list. I don't understand why. I don't get the idea. They probably spend time, they spend money, they spend energy, but they're just letting that entire asset wait. They just let it die. Because with an email list, kind of like, with um, who someone was teasing me with this back in high school. So anyway, they were it's like you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
I don't know where that come from, but
Yeah.
that definitely applies to your email list. You don't use it, you lose it. It has an expiry date, meaning that if you're building a database of people with a common interest, there's only so much time you're allowed to go without emailing them before they forget about you and before it becomes pretty much irrelevant. One of the most common requests I get when people find out that I'm into list building, that is, Igor, I got this list of 5,000 people, 50,000 people, 500,000 people. Like, but I haven't emailed them in 2 years. I haven't emailed them in 5 years. I haven't emailed them in 100 years. Like, what should I? How can I bring my dead list back to life? Well, 99 out of 100 times, my answer is you just let it go. You just do the Elsa and let it go, because that list ain't coming back to life. So, for sure, number one, what people ought to be doing that they aren't doing right now is they got to be mailing that list. The second thing I'd say that people aren't doing is they aren't segmenting their list at all. Meaning that even if they do email the list, they kind of just take everybody and just, send them something. There's no strategy behind it. There's no, um, like, if you will, personalization. I think people misunderstand what personalization actually means. Most people, when it comes to personalization, think it's inserting that little tag that's going to replace first name
Mhm.
with actual first name of the person getting the email. So instead of like, hey friend, it's going to say, hey Igor, right? But in my understanding, personalization is what Amazon does. Amazon is a big email marketer, insane, and so is Alibaba, by the way, and AliExpress. And you can't get these emails to stop. Like, you can be hitting the spam button literally on every email, and these emails are still going to inbox. And so what they do, they look at your previous purchase or whatever you've added to your cart, and then they start sending you promotions that basically say, well, people who bought this also bought this, people who like this also buy this, or if you're buying this, here's a bundle of, if you're buying a case for your phone, here's a bundle with a charger and a case and something else. And that's what personalization is. That's what the consumer actually wants today. So if you're selling a memory supplement, you can assume that that person, struggles with memory or wants to retain things better, etc. So why don't you mail them a speed reading course? Why don't you email them a productivity increasing software or project management software subscription? There's many different things, but it's up to you to take these little extra steps and personalize. And it's so easy to do it with email, because all you have to do is just tag people. Like, when somebody joins your email list and there's a particular interest they're showing, all you have to do is just tag them in your system as somebody who's interested in X, and that's it. Don't really need to do anything. Don't even need to move them around between different sequences. Just set an automation. If someone gets tagged with this, add them to this sequence. That's it. It's all done automatically within the email sending software. It's so simple to do. And the added benefit of that, by the way, is you'll get a much better email delivery rates. When you segment like that, your open rates will skyrocket, and your email deliverability will certainly skyrocket. And finally, what I don't see people do, which they should be doing, is oftentimes I see people use like a free email address as their from address. Like, I'll literally see people try to email from a Gmail account or a Hotmail account, or, I mean, I think the days of that are over. I don't think you can inbox like that anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And also, just a couple of points that came to my head. One very basic thing is that people don't really do a lot of research when it comes to choosing what email service provider they use. So I'll have some clients come to me who want to do affiliate marketing, and they're using Klaviyo. the first email you send with an affiliate link, Klaviyo is going to shut you down. They don't allow affiliate marketing. So right off the bat, it would also be like they don't choose the right platform for their needs, for their goals, and that's just going to create so much, um, let's say, wasted time, wasted effort. And then I don't want to go too technical, but something even the best email marketers I see aren't doing is they look at their metrics just as a whole. You can actually drill down and actually look at what's open rate Gmail versus Verizon versus Hotmail. So if you look at the data by ISP, you might see that actually Gmail isn't inboxing well at all, and you have really low hanging fruit, clear opportunity where if you can improve deliverability with Gmail, you can have so much more opens, clicks, and sales. So it's again, people are lazy. Oh, I got a 30% open rate. That's good. But if you actually look at by Yahoo, Verizon, Hotmail, Gmail, you might actually see, Gmail's 15%, Yahoo Hotmail is 35%. Okay, Gmail's actually not doing that well. Let me try and optimize that. So that's another big thing I see is people are just lazy and they don't actually want to spend the time to kind of drill down further and see performance on kind of a higher level. So that's another thing I see that people aren't doing.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that I have a friend who owns a school, like a learning center, and they've been, trying to get their email marketing on point, and they're doing a pretty good job. Of course, they can be doing better, and I noticed they don't really sell using their emails at all. But the one thing that I noticed is that my friend gets lost when it comes to different software, like the tech stack in his business is the single biggest source of like confusion. And I think this is where the whole issue with the email sending software and all the different tools comes in, because there's so many.
Yeah.
There's just so many of them. So maybe we can wrap up with what are some of the criteria that you think are important um, when choosing a an email tool.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, right off the bat, just because we, are in the affiliate space, make sure you're choosing ESP that allows affiliate marketing. Because, like I said, some big ones will see one affiliate link, they'll shut you down right away. So that's a really, really big first thing is do they allow affiliate marketing? Do they allow affiliate links? Second thing is IPs. So IPs are very important. Some ESPs are just shared IP pools. Some are dedicated. So it's a bit more technical, but that's a really big thing. Is if you are going to be doing a ton of email marketing, you expect to be sending big volume. You want to be able to have dedicated IPs. So that's a big thing. Third thing is going to your point. Some people don't have a lot of tech experience. Some email service providers are really easy to use, like my dog can do it, versus some are very complicated and are more kind of tech heavy. So try and choose one that has a very easy kind of interface to use. And then from there, I'd say there's technical things like what kind of segmentation can you do? Some are very limited, some you can do a ton of segmentation. Same thing with automation, some are kind of limited. Another thing is the pricing models. So, like some big ESPs, you have to sign a yearly contract. That might be a big endeavor if you're just starting out, versus if you have an established business, maybe you don't care about a yearly contract and kind of see how they price things. So, that's another thing I would look at. Um, yeah, I'd say those are definitely the main ones. I've probably tried 10 different ESPs over my time, and there's a huge contrast between some of them and when it comes to just the user experience. Like some of them I just couldn't figure out what am I doing. I don't even know if I'm doing like sending to the right segment. And my biggest kind of suggestion there would be just ask other marketers, right? There's so many Facebook groups, say, hey, what ESPs are you guys using? This is my use case, right? People are, at least from what I see in our industry, people are always willing to help. Like if someone asks an email question in the group, I'll even go in and answer it, right? So that's the best thing is understand your goals, what you need specifically, and then feel free to ask other marketers, hey, this is my criteria. What ESPs would you recommend? That would really be my suggestion.
Okay, all right. Well, you clearly know what you're doing, and I know you're working with some pretty big lists as part of your the work you're doing with Digi. So it was really interesting to get your take on things. I am. I want to share with our listeners, like, is there anything that you do I guess outside of Digistore, is there any reason for them to contact you or get in touch with you, or do you strictly work within Digi and for that reason just tell them to go sign up for Digistore?
Yeah, I mean, first off, with Digistore, whether you're a vendor or you're an affiliate who wants, an easy way to scale, feel free to message me. I don't work on the sales side of things, but I can, of course, put you in touch with, someone that can help you get started with Digistore. And then otherwise, yeah, I have many years of experience with email. I used to be a full-time list manager for one of the bigger list management companies out there. So if you are a vendor specifically in the health space, the Nutra space, and you're looking for ways to make more money from your email marketing, there's probably some strategies that you aren't doing right now that you could be doing to even 2x your email revenue pretty easily. So if that's interesting, yeah, they can always reach out to me and I can put them in contact with some different really solid email guys that I know will do a great job for them.
Sweet. So how would they reach out to you?
Yeah, so I mean, we could do Instagram. It's the Kyle Dana. It's pretty easy. My Skype ID is also pretty easy. It's Kyle Dana, so KYLEDANA. Those would probably be the two main ways to reach out to me. People are old school on like Facebook. I use my middle name there, so it's Kyle Alexander. But yeah, probably Instagram, Skype, or Facebook would probably be the best
All
three
right.
ways.
And if you guys wanted to get on Digistore, the link is digistore24, numbers 2 and 4, .com. So go check it out. It's free to sign up both as a vendor or as an affiliate. There are lots of cool offers there. Check them out. I think you're going to make some good money there. So, Kyle, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me today. I appreciate your take on everything email. And until next time we chat, have a good one.